Before I call the Honourable Taylor Martin, can I take the opportunity to issue a very warm welcome to my gallery, Mrs. Lucy Martin and Dr. Caroline Stevenson, who are both very welcome here in the gallery today, but even more welcome, if you don't mind me saying so, is our newest member, Master Miles Martin, who joins us in the chamber today. The Honourable Taylor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Our question to the Treasurer. With this week's rate rise from the RBA, households across New South Wales are again being pinched and punished for economy-wide spending and demand pressures, which are mainly coming from the federal and state government spending. As the New South Wales government is not only the largest government employer, but also the largest employer of any kind in the country, and in turn one of the top spenders in our economy. What action has the Treasurer taken to ease inflationary pressures so our households can stop being punished for reckless political spending?
Great question, Miles.
The Treasurer.
Well done, Miles.
I thank the members for their question, and it's pretty evident that this member has a particular concern about future taxpayers, and one in particular, it seems, as well. And can I just commend Master Miles Martin for the quality of his question? There are lessons to be learned from those opposite by the example that's just been set by our youngest member. But this is a good question, and to my surprise, this is the first serious economic question I've had this week, so I commend the member for his diligence. It is a shame that it has taken until his turn on the list for these matters to be raised here. Inflation and interest rates matter because they affect every household budget and every business balance sheet in New South Wales. And that is why this government has taken a disciplined approach to managing the state's finances. When we came to office, inflation was running hot at 7.7% in Sydney. Interest rates were rising rapidly, and the former government had spending growth running at unsustainable levels. So we made a conscious decision to slow expense growth and repair the budget position. And the facts are very clear. Under the former government and the former finance minister, expense growth averaged around 6.5% over 12 years. In their final year, it was even higher. The King Tudor Hope budget had expense growth at 25% over 2019 to 2022. By contrast, and one day you'll learn, and young Miles Martin needs to know what your bequest to him was. By contrast, under this government, expense growth in our first three budgets has been 3.8%, 1.8% and 4.8%, with forward growth averaging 2.6%. That restraint matters. We've also brought debt down. Gross debt is $11 billion lower than projected under Mr. Tudor Hope's program when they left office. That means
Treasurer's
lower
time
costs
has expired.
for Mr. Martin right here.
The Honourable Taylor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President, and it seems the Treasurer was only just getting started, so hopefully he'll get a bit more time in a second. I note that many commentators and economists have noted during the last few years that Australia's GDP growth is largely due to population growth. Not this kind of population growth, but literally importing new consumers in order to pump our numbers up. One study by the IPA suggested around 85% of Australia's GDP growth is due to these new Australians being brought in to keep this Ponzi scheme going. I should hope that the Treasurer here in New South Wales, at least, is cognisant that our economy must uncouple from its reliance on importing new consumers to simply puff up the numbers.
The Treasurer.
Appreciate again the thoughtfulness of the member's reply. I'm not 100% sure I agree in total or in all with generally what the IPA says, but I respect the research that the member has engaged in. But I will say that, again, when it comes to inflationary pressure, he's quite right to say that the future of growth is going to be led more by productivity than it is going to be necessarily by population growth. He's just as right if he is indeed saying that that means that we have to have a serious productivity agenda here in New South Wales. This is a serious matter because, again, the pressures that households and businesses are facing are real. We are pleased that real wages in New South Wales are growing again after they went backwards under the previous March. That's a big part of ensuring that there's adequate domestic demand. If the member wants to see domestic spending go up, then he should support a rise in wages. One of the best things we can do for cost of living support for families is to make sure that they have more money in their wallets after they complete an
Treasurer's time
honest
has
day's
expired.
work.
The Honourable Scott Farlow.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I will say from the outset that Mr. Miles Martin might actually replace Arthur Hughes as the best behaved member of the chamber to date. But when it comes to the Treasurer, he seems to have some amnesia as to what happened in 19 to 2022, those years. There seemed to be a little thing called COVID that changed the world, and of course government stepped in appropriately at that time, and I didn't see him at the time calling for more restraint when he was the shadow finance minister or the shadow treasurer at the time. But when it comes to the situation now, one thing that the Treasurer doesn't talk about is the impost that's on New South Wales families when it comes to taxation in New South Wales, something that's risen 30% on his watch if you look at the 25-26 half-yearly review since the government has come into power. So not only are New South Wales families finding it harder when the RBA is increasing rates, not only are they finding it harder when inflation in Sydney is at 4.4%, but they're finding it harder when taxes are up under Mookie.